Welcome to the Presbytery of Aberdeen and Shetland, a young presbytery that came into being during the first lockdown in June 2020. From city centre to rural suburbs to windswept islands, we have seen a lot of changes in the short span of our new presbytery. As we all came to terms with online meetings and later hybrid meetings, we have continued to develop the links that bind us together in worship, from virtual choirs to gathered worship. The moderator of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland, Lord Wallace, was able to visit both the Shetland Islands and Aberdeen City during his moderatorial year.
Here in Aberdeen in February 2022, are our spiritual antennae tuned in to discover what and to where the Spirit is guiding us?
Courses for worship leaders and preachers have been hosted by the Centre for Ministry Studies at the University of Aberdeen, and a North East Presbyteries conference focused on the Church in the 21st century and its role in society. We have welcomed a new ministry with the induction of Reverend Sarah Brown at St Mark's Cathedral. Reverend Ian Murray has taken up the new post of Buildings Officer for our and neighbouring presbyteries. We also welcomed a new MDS, Child and Families Development Worker, Claire Van Geet, to Aberdeen North Parish Church.
We're in the middle of a very messy church, which is going fine in the background there. We're into our third week of messy church, which was initially going to be monthly, but our parents asked after week one, could we have messy church every week? So it's been building week on week, and the parents have really taken ownership of it and really taken part in leading food activities and bringing children along. They are delighted to have some Bible story input. They've been telling me that they've really been enjoying that, learning themselves as well as for the children.
Shetland Parish Church has continued to develop its ministry team and has been doing a power of work in finding new homes for the many church buildings that are no longer necessary. Here, Reverend Lynn Brady hands over the keys for St Ninian's Bigton to a community group. The great outdoors have been used for prayer vigils for COP26, for dawn services, and for ventures like Forest Church, including donkeys, and commemorative tree planting.
Here we are in the grounds of Craigie Buckler Church here in Aberdeen, where on the 6th of February our local community council planted this silver birch tree to celebrate the Platinum Jubilee of Her Majesty the Queen. It was 70 years to the day since she succeeded to the throne.
Nothing stands still. In response to the pandemic, some churches have adapted their facilities, such as with the addition of ventilation systems to halls with support from Adapt and Thrive grants. A civic service was held to give thanks for key workers. And congregations found their own creative ways to commemorate the pandemic.
We're outside Manifield Church in Aberdeen, and the Cafe Connect, plays a vital part in connecting the church to the local community. It's a very popular place to come for a coffee and a fine piece, and we, in the 5 years since its opening as a church, have benefited hugely from the opportunities that having this cafe allows for in terms of connecting in with the community and playing a vital part in community life.
2 years of the pandemic were a difficult time for this cafe, like all businesses, but we were delighted with the response of our dedicated team, our staff here, and the volunteers who work as well on various occasions during the week. We set out to make the cafe a safe area, complying with the requirements for distancing and for wearing face masks, and as you can see, we had perspex screens around the counter, which we still have, in order to keep our staff as safe as possible. We're now returning, as you can hear, to a busy life with the cafe full most times, with generally folks queuing up before we open at 10, and we're hoping for a good summer for people to be able to kind of sit out in our outside seating area.
The Presbytery continues to work with the General Trustees in finding a future for important ecclesiastical buildings that no longer have worshipping congregations. With change, redevelopment all around us, we are working towards the future as a bigger presbytery.
At this year's General Assembly, there will be overtures from presbyteries seeking to become part of larger groupings, and the Presbytery of Aberdeen and Shetland is part of that, as we seek to become part of the Presbytery of the North East and the Northern Isles. It's an exciting step forward. It, of course, has its challenges and it involves a great deal of work. But we do believe that when we come together in January 2023 to form this new presbytery, that it will be a positive step forward, and in particular, that mission will be very much at the heart of all that we seek to do.
Our excellent team of clerk, deputy clerk and communications officer serve the presbytery with wisdom and efficiency, ensuring good communications across the presbytery, sharing news, and making links with local media. A presbytery e-zine regularly updates all of presbytery on what has been happening around the presbytery. From guest roles in BBC productions to reinstated church bells to sadder news like the deaths of former clerk George Cowie and Fiona Benzie, a member of Rubislaw Parish Church who was a huge part in developing links between Aberdeen and Blantyre in Malawi. Presbytery life is rich, full of memories and aspirations. Thank you for sharing in our journey.